Hello students, welcome to class 11th, and today I am starting off with physics. Okay, the very first chapter is the physical world, and I am starting with one of its part, dimensions. Chapter 1, dimensions. Now students, in some lower classes you had studied, say, the physics up to very small level. Now students, in higher classes, say the class 11th, the class 12th, we had to take some depth in our physics. Okay, so let me start with that physics with which you are familiar. Okay, now students, we are familiar with Ohm's law. You had studied this Ohm's law in class 10th, and according to Ohm's law, the potential difference applied across any conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through the conductor. Okay, that is this potential difference V. This V is the potential difference, this I is the current, and this R is the resistance. It is the potential difference, it is the current, and this R is the resistance of the conductor. Got it, students? Similarly, students, in class 9, you had studied Newton's second law of motion. Now, students, Newton's second law of motion. Now, students, in this Newton's second law of motion, what you had studied? In Newton's second law of motion, you had studied that, let us suppose it is the block of mass m, and if the force, say vector F, is applied on this block, then this block, it will accelerate in the forward direction. Okay? And students, this Newton's second law of motion, Newton's second law of motion, mathematically, is defined in terms of force, mass, and acceleration. It is same as the Ohm's law. In the Ohm's law, the mathematical notation of the Ohm's law is the potential difference applied is equal to the product of current and resistance of the conductor. Now, since it is the Newton's second law of motion and it is the Ohm's law, now what we are going to study in our physics? So we have to study the different phenomena, we have to study the laws, the different laws, we have to study some basic principles. Okay, now since all the laws in our physics, they are defined with the help of some measurable quantities. Now, sirs, you must have noticed in your lower classes that this potential difference, it can have any value. Okay? This current I, it can have any value. This R, the resistance of the conductor, again it can have any value. So, students, when you are studying the different laws of physics, then we always study the different laws of physics in terms of some measurable quantities, and those measurable quantities, they are called physical quantities. So the very first basic of class 11th is physical quantity. Okay, and remember one thing, students, when you are taking this online classes, then always you have to sit with your register and pen. You have to note down each and everything written on the whiteboard in the correct sequence. Okay, and along with that, I am going to make some dictation. Okay, I will dictate, say, the definitions, the statements of the different laws, the statements of the different principles. You have to note them in clear words, patiently in your register. What we call, you are making notes for yourself. These notes, they will be the learning material, okay, which will help you in the examination. Got it? Okay, so better note it down. I think so. You have copied it. Now, students, in this discussion, in today's discussion, what we are going to discuss in this lecture, we will talk about physical quantity. Physical quantity. So, students, what do you understand by this term physical quantity? I am making a definition for it. Physical quantities are those measurable quantities in terms of which the different laws of physics can be studied. So, students, what do you understand by physical quantity? Just now, I had discussed with you Ohm's law and Newton's second law of motion. The Newton's second law of motion was mathematically defined in terms of force, mass, acceleration. Similarly, Ohm's law is again defined in terms of potential difference, current and resistance. So, students, what is required to define a law mathematically? Whichever quantity may be required to define the law mathematically, that quantity is the physical quantity. So, as per definition, it is written on the board, the physical quantities are those measurable quantities in terms of which physical quantities are those measurable quantities in terms of which the different laws of physics can be studied. Got it? Have you noted it down? Okay. Now, in simple words, students, I want to put this as whatever we are going to study in our physics, we are going to study physics in terms of certain measurable quantities. Okay? And those certain measurable quantities in terms of which we are going to study our physics, they all are the physical quantities. Okay? Okay. Now, sirs, the physical quantity, or say, now I am saying quantities. The physical quantities, they are classified into two. First one is the fundamental quantities, and the second one are the derived quantities. All the physical quantities, they are categorized into two, the fundamental quantities and the derived quantities. Now, sirs, what is the difference between the fundamental quantities and the derived quantities? Let us make it clear. Now, I am starting off with fundamental quantities. Now, what are fundamental quantities? So, these are those physical quantities which are the basic physical quantities. So, I can say that the fundamental quantities, they are the basic physical quantities. Okay, students? And in actual, there exists 7 fundamental quantities. There exists 7 different fundamental quantities. Okay? Now, there is no need to discuss all the 7 fundamental quantities, but at least I will discuss the 4 fundamental quantities with you. Okay? For example, mass. Okay, since mass. What was mass? It was just the quantity of matter present in the body. Okay? This much you have studied in your lower classes, I must say the class 6 or 7th. Again, the other fundamental quantity is length. Okay? Other is time. Then temperature, etc. I am not making a list of all the 7 fundamental quantities. Okay? In first few classes, I will just require with mass, length and time. I will require only the first 3. The first 3 fundamental quantities, the mass, length and time. Now, remember one thing, students. The mass of any body, why it is a fundamental quantity? It is a fundamental quantity because the mass, it does not depend on time. For example, suppose you are having a book and the mass of the book is, suppose say 200 gram. Okay? The mass of the book remains same. It will remain same. Okay? When you are observing it today, or you may be observing the book, say after 10 years, there is not enough change in the mass, or there is practically, I must say, there is no change in mass. Okay, sirs? So, this mass, it does not depend on any other physical quantity. That's why we say that mass is a fundamental quantity. So, sirs, fundamental quantities, what are they? Fundamental quantities, they are the basic physical quantities. First of all, by this term basic physical quantities, I want to say that these quantities, they does not involve any other physical quantity for their definition. Okay? Okay? Okay. And it is the only difference between the fundamental quantities and the derived quantities. Got it? So, for few first lectures, you have to consider mass, length and time. There is no need of all the 7 fundamental quantities. But what we will require mass, length and time only. Okay? Okay. So, students, fundamental quantities, I think so it is clear. They are the basic physical quantities. Okay? In actual, there are 7 fundamental quantities. And out of those 7, we are going to discuss mass, length and time. Okay? For few first lectures. Okay. Now, students, derived quantities. Now, what are the derived quantities? These derived quantities, friends, they are not the basic physical quantities, but since they can be defined or they can be derived from the fundamental quantities. Okay, that's why we call these set of physical quantities as the derived quantities. So in our physics, out of the total number of the physical quantities, there are 7 fundamental quantities, and the rest of the left physical quantities all are the derived quantities. Why? Because we can derive each and every derived quantity in terms of the fundamental quantities. Okay, now I will show you, I will make it clear with an illustration. For example, let us suppose there are the 2 points A and B, and it is the path which exists between these 2 points A and B. Now let us suppose say it is the body which is moving along this curved path, and this body had started its journey from the point say A at time t equals to 0, and it arrives at this point B at time t equals to 10 seconds. Okay, that means friends, the time taken by the body to go from A to B via this path is 10 seconds. Okay, friends, now with this much data which is available on the board, can you calculate the speed of the body? Let us try to calculate the speed of the body. What was speed? The speed is nothing but distance covered by the body divided by the time taken. So what was speed? Speed was the distance covered by the body divided by the time taken. Now in this data, we are provided with the information that the body is moving along a curved path AB, and the time of journey of the body is 10 seconds. The time is given to you. But since in this data, there is no information provided about the distance covered by the body. Now, if since this distance covered by the body is unknown to us, then how can we calculate the speed of the body? That's why I can say that the calculation of speed, it depends on the distance covered by the body and the time interval in which the body covers the distance. Got it? Speed or the calculation of speed is depending on the distance covered by the body and the time interval. If since both of them are provided in the data, then we can calculate the speed of the body easily. If suppose any one out of two, the distance covered and the time interval, if any one of these two is not provided to us in the data, then since we are not able to calculate the speed of the body. That's why since we say that this physical quantity, the speed, is depending on the other physical quantities. Okay, that's why I will say that the speed is not the fundamental quantity. It is not the fundamental quantity. Now let us see how the speed, it can be derived from the fundamental quantity. Okay, now in the today's lecture, what we have to do, we have to arrive to a stage up to which we are able to calculate the dimensional formula. Okay, now with the progress of this lecture, you will be clear with all these terms which I am using now. Okay, good. Now let us do one more thing. Suppose this is the distance AB is equals to say 20 meters. If the data of distance covered by the body is provided to you, then since we can calculate the speed of the body now. Now the speed of the body, it will be equals to 20 meter divided by time. Time is 10 seconds. So it gives us 2 meter per second. So the speed of the body is coming out to be 2 meter per second. Okay? Clear? Now look over here in this unit. What is meter? Meter is nothing but the unit of length. What is time? Time is nothing but the unit of what is the second? The second is the unit of time. Now, The second is the unit of time. This meter is the unit of length. So from this unit, we can say that the speed has something to do with length and time. That's why we says that speed is derived from length and time. Okay? Now let us see, friends, how the physical quantity speed, it can be derived from the fundamental quantities, say mass, length and time only. Okay? Now, friends, what is required in the step 1? What is required in the step 1? Or I am saying later on, friends, I will give you this stepwise approach to reach to the dimensional formula of the physical quantity. Okay? In this illustration, I am just briefing it out. So in actual sense, the speed is first of all defined as distance upon time. Now, speed is defined in terms of distance and time. Now, friends, out of these two, distance and time, remember, there were 7 fundamental quantities. And out of those 7, I am just considering these 3 physical quantities. So what you have to do, you have to just compare the physical quantities which are present in the definition with these fundamental quantities. What I want to say, that is, try to compare this distance. This distance, it belongs to mass, length or time. What is distance? Distance is not a kind of mass, but distance is a kind of length. The same word, radius of the circle, circumference of the circle, radius of the circle, circumference of the circle, they again belongs to the fundamental quantity length. Okay, they does not belongs to mass. They have nothing to do with mass. They have nothing to do with time. Okay, now first one was distance. So this distance, now I am writing out the fundamental quantities in terms of or in place of the physical quantities which are present in the definition. So since this distance, it does not belongs to mass, it does not belongs to length, it does not belongs to time. Okay? Or I can say that this distance, it does not belongs to mass, it does not belongs to time, but this distance, it belongs to length. Distance is just a kind of length. So in place of distance, what we can say, we can write out length. In place of distance, we can just write out length. And time itself, it is the fundamental quantity. So time is written as it is. So now I can say that the calculation of speed will involve length and time. And the calculation would be length is to be divided by time. Got it, friends? Okay? Now up to this step, we reach to the conclusion that the speed of the body can be written in terms of the fundamental quantities, say length and time. Okay? Okay? Now, what we have done just now, we are going to say that we have derived speed in terms of fundamental quantities. Okay? So, friends, in this short discussion, I think so, I made it clear to you what is the clear-cut difference between the fundamental quantity and the derived quantities. Okay? Okay. Now, friends, what we have done, the physical quantity, it is clear to us. The physical quantities, they are divided into two. The fundamental quantities and the derived quantities. So, friends, you just note down the definition for the derived quantities. Okay? I am making a dictation. I am dictating it out. So, friends, derived quantities are those physical quantities. Note it down. The derived quantities are those physical quantities which can be derived from the fundamental quantities. Okay? For example, speed, velocity, acceleration, force, work, torque. There are many derived quantities. Okay? Okay. Now, what do you understand by the unit first of all? What is unit? The unit of mass, you must be familiar with the statements. The unit of mass is kilogram, it can be gram, it can be milligram. Okay? The unit of length, similarly, it can be kilometer, meter, millimeter, centimeter, something. The unit of time are days, minutes, seconds, centuries, many more units. Okay? Now, what is a unit? I am not talking about the unit of mass, I am not talking about the unit of length, I am not talking about the unit of time. I am just talking about the basic definition of unit. How can you define unit? Or what do you understand by unit? Now, I must tell you what is unit. Now, since unit is a standard which is chosen by us, we are going to choose a standard in terms of which we are going to measure the physical quantity. Okay, students? Now, I should make this statement very clear to you. If suppose, students, you have sketched a line segment on the paper of your register, okay, and you want to measure it, then since that length or the length of that line segment, it can vary from say few millimeters to some say few inches. But on a paper sheet of A4 size, you cannot draw a straight line whose length is suppose say 2000 kilometers. It is not possible. Okay, sirs? So whenever you have to measure the length of the straight line drawn on paper, you have to use the smaller units. But whenever you are talking about the distance between Delhi and Bombay, you cannot say that the distance between Delhi and Bombay is something millimeter or something centimeter. In that case, we are going to use some higher units. We are going to say that the distance between Delhi and Bombay is approx say 680 kilometers. Okay? It becomes senseless when we are saying it is 680 into 10 raised to the power 5. Okay? 10 raised to the power 5 centimeter. It becomes senseless. Clear? So, since what I want to say, whenever you have to define unit, then since what is unit? Unit is the standard which is chosen by us, okay, to define or to measure the physical quantity. Clear? Now I am making it clear. I am writing it on the board. Or you do one thing, sirs. Note it down. I am dictating it. Okay? Okay. So the definition of unit. Unit is the standard chosen by us to measure the physical quantity. Got it? Okay? Okay. So what is unit? It is the standard. It is the standard chosen by us to measure the physical quantity. Got it? Okay. Now, sirs, there are some physical quantities, sirs, which have some units. There are the small number of physical quantities as well, which does not have any unit. Okay? Okay. So, sirs, again, the units, they can be categorized into two. The fundamental units, and the second one, derived units. Okay? Now again, the units, they are categorized into two. First one, the fundamental units, and the second one, the derived units. It is the same way as we did in the case of the physical quantities. The physical quantities were categorized into two. First one was the fundamental quantity or the fundamental quantities, and the second set was the derived quantities. Okay? Okay. Now, what do you understand by the fundamental units? Fundamental units. What are they? The fundamental units basically are the units of the fundamental quantities. Okay? So I can say that they are the basic units or the units of fundamental quantities. Got it, friends? So they are the basic units or the units of the fundamental quantities. That's clear? Okay. Then comes out derived units. Now, sirs, in today's lecture, actually we have to derive the units of the different physical quantities. Okay? Clear? Now I will teach you how to derive the unit of the physical quantity. So first of all, I am making a definition, the clear definition for the derived unit. Okay? Now what are the derived units? Beta, these are those units which can be derived from the fundamental units. So what are derived units? These are those units which can be derived from the fundamental units. Got it, friends? Clear? Okay. Note it down. Done? Okay. Now, friends, I will give you the stepwise approach to derive the unit of the physical quantity. Okay? But before that, I have to write out the unit for mass, length and time. Why? Because we will require them. Friends, remember, the unit of mass we are not going to use as milligram, gram, kilogram, like that. Okay? What we are going to do, the unit of mass as a symbol, you have to just use the symbol. Say capital M symbolically is the unit of mass. Okay? So in today's lecture, the unit of mass is M for you. Okay? We are not going to use the defined units of mass like gram, milligram, kilogram, ton, quintal, like that. Okay? There is no need. Similarly, the unit of length is written as, say, capital L. The capital L is the symbolic representation of the unit of length. Similarly, time, capital T. This capital T is the symbolic representation of the unit of time. Got it? I think so it is clear to you. Why? Because I will discuss every derived quantity in terms of mass, length, time. Okay? In today's lecture, I am not going to discuss those physical quantities which require the rest of the fundamental quantities. Okay? Okay. Now, sirs, how to derive the unit of the derived quantity. to derive the unit of the derived quantity. I am giving you the stepwise approach. In this step 1, what is required? Since the basic definition of the given derived quantity is required. Okay? For example, speed is defined as distance upon time. Force is defined as mass multiplied with acceleration. Potential difference is defined as current multiplied with resistance, like those. Okay? The mathematical relationships. Clear? In the step 1, we have to define the physical quantity. Got it? Okay? Now with this logarithm sense, I am taking up an illustration. Let us suppose we are talking about speed. Speed is defined as distance covered by body divided by time taken. Okay? So it is the first step. Okay? I think so that you are clear with some very basic physical quantities and you are clear with their definitions. Okay? But now onwards, you have to listen those physical quantities. Okay? You have to work with those physical quantities. The names of those physical quantities you must have not, say, read or learned in your lower classes. Okay? So better this step 1 for every derived quantity I will give it to you. Okay? Now in the step 2, what do you have to do? We have to just write out the dependence of the physical quantities present in the definition in terms of the fundamental quantities. Okay? I have to write the physical quantities in definition in terms of fundamental quantities. Got it? Okay? Now, the speed is written as distance. So as distance, it belongs to mass, length or time. Clearly now, since you have an idea that distance, it belongs to length. So in place of distance, what I am going to write? I am going to write out length. And time itself, it is the fundamental quantity. Got it, sir? So second step is clear. Okay, done. Copy it. Copy. Now, since the last step, the step 3, what you have to do? You have to write the units of the fundamental quantities. Okay? Okay, which we have obtained in the step 2. In the step 2 says there is a clear relationship between the derived quantity and the fundamental quantities. So in the step 3, what you have to do? You have to just write out the units of the fundamental quantities which are present in this relation. For example, say speed. Let us make a symbolic representation for it. And the general symbolic representation for speed is V. So first of all, you have to make a general symbolic representation for the derived quantity, and then in place of the fundamental quantities, we have to write out their units. I just told you that the unit for length which we are going to use is L, capital L, and the unit for time which we are going to use is capital T. So since the speed is written in terms of length and time in this unit form, okay? Got it? Then we have to do the small calculation. Okay? Now we can say that the speed v is written as Lt minus 1. Yes or no? Why? Because L raised to power is 1, T raised to power is 1, but T is in the denominator. So when I am going to write this T along with L, then I have to take it in the numerator. And when it is taken to the numerator, then the T raised to power 1, it becomes to T raised to power minus 1. Got it? And then since I am going to enclose this within the square bracket. Fine? Clear? Now since in this step, what we have obtained, we had obtained the derived unit of speed. Okay? So in this simple 3-step algorithm, we can derive the unit of any physical quantity. We can write out the derived unit of any physical quantity. I am talking about the derived quantities, okay? That is how to write the different derived quantities in terms of the first fundamental quantities, then how to obtain the derived unit. Got it? Okay? Now, what is written over here? V is the speed, V is the symbol for speed, and it is written square bracket. Always remember, derived unit is always expressed in when it is enclosed in square brackets. So try to enclose your calculated system of fundamental units in the square bracket. Okay? Now sirs, I want to make an important statement over here. The calculation of speed or the definition of speed does not involve mass. Whenever we have to calculate the speed of a moving body, then we are not interested in the mass of the body. Okay? So I can make a more generalized statement that the derived unit for speed, it does not depend on mass. So I am putting m raised to power 0 over here. Got it? Why I am putting m raised to power 0? Because the calculation of speed, it does not depend on the mass of the body. Clear? And the rest of thing is written as it is, Lt minus 1. So what we have written over here, it is the derived unit for speed. What is it? It is the derived unit for speed. And since we have to read out this derived unit, how we are going to read out the derived units? Okay, I am just helping you. We can say that the speed is written as m raised to power 0, L raised to power 1, and T raised to power is minus 1. So since these powers of the fundamental units, with the help of which we have defined the derived unit, these powers are given the name dimensions. Got it? I think so. Now what do you understand by dimension, or how can you define dimension? It is made clear. So these powers, m raised to power 0, L raised to power 1, T raised to power minus 1, these powers to which the fundamental units of mass, length or time or any other fundamental quantity are raised to derive the unit. Okay? These parts are called dimensions. Clear? So how we are going to read it? We are going to read this derived unit as speed has 0 dimensions in mass. Speed has 0 dimensions in mass. Speed has 1 dimension in length. Speed has minus 1 dimension in time. Got it? Remember, since those dimensions which are positive, okay, as dimensions they are parts of the fundamental units, so those units they will appear in the numerator, and since the parts or the dimensions which are negative, they will appear in the denominator in the fraction form. Got it? Okay? So how we are going to read it out? Speed has 0 dimensions in mass, 1 dimension in length, and minus 1 dimension in time. Got it? Okay. So I think so, students, how to write out the derived unit of the physical quantity is made clear to you. Okay? Now I am just defining two terms. First one, dimensions. What are dimensions? They are the parts to which the fundamental units are to be raised to derive the unit of physical quantity. Got it, students? It is written physical. So what are dimensions? Dimensions, they are the parts to which the fundamental units are to be raised to derive the unit of the physical quantity. Got it? Clear? Now, dimensional formula. What is dimensional formula? The dimensional formula, in simple words, I can say it is nothing but the derived unit. It is the derived unit of the physical quantity. Okay? It is the basic idea. It is not the actual definition. When you want to actually define dimensional formula, then we can define this dimensional formula as the dimensional formula of any physical quantity is the relation between the fundamental units on which the physical quantity depends. Got it? For example, the derived unit or the dimensional formula for speed was m0 lt minus 1. So whatever we have written in the square brackets, it is the dimensional formula. It is the dimensional formula of the physical quantity. Got it? Now, in today's lecture, we will try at least 20 different derived quantities and try to write out their dimensional formulas. Okay? Okay. Copied it out. Now, friends, let us derive the dimensional formulas of some physical quantities. Okay? Derive the unit of physical quantity. First one is say area. Now, sirs, area of the square, it is written as side square. Got it? Then, second, volume. Volume of a cube is again written as side cube. Got it? Third, velocity is written as displacement upon time. Then acceleration. Mathematically, students, we are not writing out the actual definitions, we are just writing out the mathematical relations. Acceleration is written as velocity upon time. Then force. Force is written as mass multiplied with acceleration. Okay, the symbolic notations which we have to use, they are, say, capital V for volume, capital A for area, small v for velocity, and small a for acceleration, and capital F for force. Got it? Now, let us write out the derived units of these 5 derived quantities. Now, I am starting up with area. Area, step 1. In the step 1, what do you have to do? What is required? We are required with the definition. Definition, students, I had provided you over here. The step 1 is done by me. Okay? Now, in the step 2, this area along with the symbol is written as side. Side belongs to mass, it belongs to length, it belongs to time, or anything else. Side is just a kind of length. Side is not a kind of mass. Side is not the kind of time. So, students, instead of the side, we have to write out the fundamental quantity length. The fundamental quantity length is written over here. Okay? Side square, so we have to write out length square. And step 3, we can say this A is written as, in place of length, we have to write out its unit. Remember, the unit of mass which we have to use was m, the unit for length which we have to use was L, and the unit for time which we have to use was T. So L, the power is 2, so we are going to write 2 over here. Now, if we want to make a generalized result in terms of M, L and T, remember, the calculation of area, it does not involve mass, it does not involve time, it involves only length. So, we can write the derived unit for area can be written as M0, L raised to power 2 and T raised to power 0. Why? Because M raised to power 0 is nothing but equal to 1. Similarly, T raised to power 0 is nothing but equal to 1. So 1 multiplied with L square multiplied with 1, it is nothing but L square. Okay? Got it? So it is the generalized dimensional formula for area. Okay? Whenever you have to write out the generalized dimensional formula, then students always remember, this is also correct, but when we are expressing the derived unit in terms of M, L and T, it is also correct. Now it is, students, up to you. I must say that according to me, each and every dimensional formula should be completely defined in terms of M, L and T. Okay? Okay. Got it? That 3-step algorithm is clear to you. Now, the second was volume. Symbol is V, and it is written as side Q. So, students, step 1 is done for you. Step 1 is done for you. So, in the step 2, say volume V is written as, say, length Q. Why? Because the side, it belongs to length. It does not belong to mass, it does not belong to time. Then the step 3. In the step 3, symbol, unit and LQ. There is no need to write out the part 3 over here. That is outside the bracket. Always, how you are going to write out the parts? The parts, they are written the parts of the fundamental units, they are written within the square brackets. So again I am making a generalization. The dimensional formula for volume or the derived unit for volume is written as M0 L3 T0. How we are going to read it as? We are going to read it as that volume has 0 dimensions in mass, 3 dimensions in length, and 0 dimension in time. That means while calculating volume, we are not required with mass, we are not required with time, but what we are required with, we have to calculate. If we have to calculate volume, then we require 3 similar length or the different lengths, and those lengths, they are to be multiplied with each other. Got it, friends? So by this dimensional formula, we get the clear idea how the derived physical quantity is depending on the fundamental quantities. Okay? Clear? Okay. Now the next one, velocity. The definition is given to you. Velocity is displacement upon time. So friends, what is displacement? In lower classes you must have studied about displacement. Displacement is just the shortest straight line path between the initial and the final position. Shortest straight line path between the initial and the final position of the body. Got it? So again, displacement, it does not belong to mass. It also does not belong to time. It belongs to length only. So in place of displacement, we can write out length. We are saying that displacement, it belongs to length, and time itself, it is the fundamental quantity. Got it? Then we have to write out the units. In place of length, we are going to write out L. In place of time, we are going to write out T. Solving it, we can write it as LT minus 1. And if I want to make a generalization, then the V is written as M0 LT minus 1. Okay? Now you must be thinking about one thing, that we had discussed the derivation of the unit of speed. Over here we had discussed the derivation of velocity. Both the dimensional formulas of speed and velocity, they are M0 LT minus 1. No doubt speed and velocity has the same dimensional formula. But remember one thing, these two are those physical quantities which have the same origin. Which have the same origin. Got it? Okay? Okay. Now the next one. Now the next one. Acceleration. Symbolic representation is A, and it is written as a velocity upon time. There is a shortcut, friends. There is a shortcut. I will discuss the shortcut afterwards. So, we can say that the acceleration, small a is written as velocity. First of all, you have to reduce velocity to its definition. How? Velocity was written as displacement upon time. Clear? And time was present in the definition itself. So time. Now since what was it? This was velocity. This was velocity. And this entire thing is velocity upon time. Now again, we have to write out the fundamental quantities involved. Displacement, it just belongs to length. Time is time. So time square. Now we have to write out the units of fundamental quantities. In place of length, what we have to do? We have to write out L. And in place of time, we have to write out T. There was time square. So I have to write out T square over here. Got it? Then, I think so that you have copied it. Try to copy each and everything written on the whiteboard. Why? Because they are your notes, okay? And they will serve you for the entire year. Got it? Now this can be written as, it is reduced to LT minus 2. Copy it. So whenever I have to make a generalization, then I can say that this A is written as M0 LT minus 2. So the dimensional formula for acceleration is M0 LT minus 2. Again, how we are going to read it? Acceleration has 0 dimension in mass, 1 dimension in length, and minus 2 dimension in time. Clear? Okay, we are left with the last one. The shortcut of how to write out the dimensional formula for acceleration is missed out by me. So let us see about that shortcut. Acceleration A, what was it? It was velocity upon time. Now friends, if you already know the dimensional formula for velocity, then we can write the dimensional formula for velocity straight away. Okay? We can take a shortcut. Velocity, the dimensional formula for velocity is written as LT minus 1. The dimensional formula for time, it is written as T. On solving it, we get it is written as LT minus 2. Okay? Whenever we have to make a generalization, then acceleration is written as M0 LT minus 2. Now it depends on you. I suggest that you better use this part. Why? Because it will not consume much time. Okay? For this approach, what is required? It is required that you should learn the dimensional formulas of the physical quantities. In actual, what you have to do? You have to learn about 50. 50, I am telling you the number. The number of dimensional formulas which you have to learn, they are 50 in number. Okay? After learning those dimensional formulas, we can proceed with the numericals. Clear? Now, the last one. The last one is force. Definition was mass multiplied with acceleration. Symbol was F. So F, mass, the unit for mass is M. Acceleration, we had just calculated the dimensional formula for acceleration. It was LT minus 2. So multiplying them, this F is written as M LT minus 2. So since the dimensional formula for force is M LT minus 2, how we are going to read it out?